guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gianna. It's so nice to have you here if you've been here before. Thanks for coming back if this is your first time here. This channel is all about just feeling good, looking good, laughing a little bit, fashion, fitness, a little bit of style, a little bit of lifestyle, a little bit of food, a little bit of nutrition, and a lot of softball because I played softball my entire life. And this specific video is all about softball and talking about my time playing professionally. Next question. One thing I loved and one thing I would change. I love many things and I would change many things. Can't just single it to one. I played for 7 years, you know what I'm saying? So again, what I loved, I'm gonna repeat this, the cross of generations, getting to play with Olympians, like that was incredible. Getting to play with people, different programs, younger ages, made my very best friends and relationships that'll last way beyond the sport. I loved getting to call myself a professional female athlete or a professional softball player because when I would tell people that I was, they didn't even know it existed. So just being, I would say, a pioneer for the game, being a part of the building process because I know in my heart one day we're gonna make it. I say we because I'm still a part. I'm still rooting for softball and I'll do whatever I can to help out the sport and the game. That's why I have such a passion for like building female athletes because I want them to know what it takes to get there and I want them to be able to dream to play professionally and I want it to exist for them so they don't have to look up to MLB players. They can look up to professional softball players because there's going to be a professional league and it's going to be something that will be able to support them financially full time. I know it in my heart. We will get there. What was I saying? I just went on a rant. One thing I would change, again, a lot I would change. I would say everybody thinks professional sports is like very glamorous. Not always. I would say being on the Pride, we had the most glamorous experience. Dawn took great care of us. We got to go to fancy dinners. Like I said, we got to travel out of the country. We got to do really cool things and go to a lot of MLB games and stadiums and meet some really cool people. But our schedule, brutal. There were days where we would fly and play on the same day, days where we would have to drive 6 hours and play a doubleheader on the same day. And we were driving ourselves in rental cars. We weren't on a bus. So we had to be like coherent and awake to get ourselves there. It was a grind. It was hard on our bodies and mentally, but again, we did it because we knew it was what we had to do and it was what it was and we loved it. So there were times where we'd be like, really? Like, this is hard. Like, we're human. We're gonna complain sometimes, but we showed up anyways and we did it and we still crushed it, you know? And I think our sport deserves better and these women deserve better than that. And I know it will get better over time, but that was like the not so glamorous side. So just instead of condensing season in such a small amount of months, and again, I know that has a lot to do with money and time and I get it. But again, if we had the money, stretching out season a little bit longer. So we allowed off days, proper recovery days. Injuries will probably go way down as we get older. We start to just break apart a little bit easier. So we need those days in between. So that's one thing I would change for sure. Gosh, another thing I would change. I don't know. I've never been in charge of a professional league. I know it takes a lot and there's a lot more to it. But I would look to other professional leagues, maybe like the MLB, try to make a connection in there, and see if they could somehow guide us. I'm sure there were some conversations there. We got to go to MLB Fan Fest. I got to be interviewed on stage at MLB Fan Fest and be a part of like some of the fun stuff when it was in Miami, South Beach, and when it was in San Diego. So we had that experience as well. I don't know why it fell through or what happened, but again, just having that business model and that mentor, because the goal is, I think one day, is to have a Yankees professional softball team in the same city, treated the same way as the Yankees, and then a Tampa Bay Rays professional softball team. Like, I think that would be incredible. Think about it. Our viewership, our ratings, people love college softball in the Women's College World Series. They are true fans of the game and the women in the game, in the college game. So imagine if these women all had an opportunity to play professionally, these fans would follow their career into the professional league. And think about it now, like, I wouldn't even say 1%, 0.1% might have an opportunity to play after college. And that's really sad because think about it, we don't peak until late 20s, 30s. Like, if I was still playing, I'm 32, I could be at my best right now, playing at my best. And we just don't have the opportunity. So creating more opportunity, building bridges, building connections and conversation to kind of just create momentum to get this game and this pro league in the right direction. I know it's a big risk. There's a lot of risk, financial risk that comes with it, but we just need a core group of people to take that risk for us, because the fan base is there. The fan base is there. We'll get there one day. Okay, these next 3 questions are like about money and working, so we're going to kind of group them together. Do you work while playing pro? And then do we make enough money to support ourselves? So yeah, a lot of us do work playing pro. Fortunately, with the Pride, we were paid all year long, and we had opportunity to get paid more depending on what we did for the organization. We had these All-American tryouts that were held in different cities, so we'd go evaluate the players, and that was like an extra payment. Or if we would make appearances, that was like an extra payment. But we did get like a standard. It wasn't a lot at all. Like, you can't live off of it, so there was something we had to do on top of it. But again, we're very lucky that we're able to get something every month all year long. At least it was like a little bit of stability in case, you know, we had something going on with our actual job or whatever. It was just great to have that coming in every month. A lot of us stayed involved in the game, whether we were coaching at the college level or we were giving private lessons. But I would say most of us stayed within the game because we had to stay in game shape. We were still an athlete, so to just be around the game keeps us there mentally, keeps us there physically. So a lot of us did work with lessons, camps, clinics, coaching. That's what the majority of us did. And the other one, make enough money. So I would say if you just tried to live off of the check they gave us, no, absolutely not. We make way below minimum wage. Like, there's not much money in it. Depending on if you had a brand dealership, all right, a dealership, a brand deal, and you sign with other brands, you would have a little bit more money coming in. Contracts vary depending on what you offer to the team, right? What position you play, how valuable you were to them, just like any professional team. But again, I don't think any of us just did nothing. Like, we all were doing something. So one day, I know we can make enough to support ourselves, because I truly don't believe, if you think about it, the lowest paid MLB players paid like maybe $200,000 as a bullpen catcher. I don't know. I'm talking about on the team. And the lowest paid player in the league was like $4,000 for the whole season. I don't think they're like 2,000 and something times better than we are as far as talent. So the pay shouldn't be that big of a difference. But again, we just have to build the fan base and, you know, kind of just start that momentum going with the professional league. But yeah, those are the money questions answered for you. This is a controversial question. I can't answer this. No. We're going to get into controversial. Don't you worry about it. You got to stay till the end to hear those questions. Who is your favorite teammate? You can't ask me that. They're all my favorites. I can't answer that. God, they're all so amazing. I'll tell you who I spent the most time with. How about that? I spent the most time with on the Pride with Andrew Duran. We were housemates, roommates, car mates. We were always together. We were like sisters. We fought like sisters. And then Chelsea Thomas became one of my very best friends. We are both so weird, and not many people know that about us. So that's how we bonded. We were so just authentically weird together, and we didn't judge each other, and the conversations we have. And it's somebody that I keep in touch with. I literally FaceTimed her today. We talk consistently. I try to see her once a year. And that's the hardest part about playing pro with all these women. We all come together for the season, and then we're all living across the country, just spread out. So all my like good friends are in different states. So it's just hard because you don't get to see them as much. As far as like other teammates on the Pride, God, everybody just brought something different to my life. But I think of Danielle Laurie, just a competitor. I love being her teammate. She had a baby, so she took a year off, and then she came back and just crushed it. Like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Not many women do that. Like, just having her, being behind her, and just her passion and her competitiveness. I loved playing first base next to her. I just loved it. Kat had that passion too. Like, she was just like so fiery, and I love that. I love that expression of passion. Like, just, it fires me up. I love it. I love it. Gosh, who else? I mean, I had some young ones coming up that I just loved. My little Momo Mercado. Oh, I love her. We spent a lot of time together in the dugout. Again, a tea lover. So we spent a lot of time on the tee together. Man, who else? I love my OU girls. They're all great. Lauren is my girl, man. Another one I just really bonded with and we're good friends with. Today I just saw her in Oklahoma City. I stayed with her. Amber's another great one. We just clicked immediately. Gosh, they're all so great. If I didn't say your name, don't be upset. You're all my favorites, but those are just the ones that popped up in my mind. This is a funny question here. Gosh, my tattoos are itching. Why were some pro stadiums you played on at are absolutely terrible fields? That goes back to I didn't break my nose, but it felt like it. My broken nose story. But sometimes we would be put on fields to play games that were so bad. So bad. I understand they wanted us to play in certain cities or areas, but like, I feel like we could have been a little bit better about choosing the quality of the fields. There were fields where we would play at like a rec field with like like a set of 4 fields, like, you know what I'm talking about? Like travel ball days. And the field would literally be like this hump. It wouldn't even be flat. The pitcher's mound would be elevated and higher than the batter's box. We would play on so many baseball fields. Yes, baseball. Grass infield. Most of my time on the Pride, we played at the Osceola, what team trains there? The Astros spring training field. All grass infield. Sometimes we would be playing in puddles of water from the rain because Florida, it rains every day. So we had to deal with the rain. It was an everyday thing. There was literally this one baseball field. I don't even remember where we were. We were somewhere in like the Northeast. The grass was so bumpy and so bad that, you know those balls with like the bumps on it? When you like throw it, that's how the ground balls like moved on the grass. Like, just wild. But personally, I don't know why people don't like it. I love playing on turf fields. Consistent. I could wear plastic shoes, like plastic spikes or turfs. My feet and my knees loved that. Especially as I got older, I stopped wearing metal cleats because my joints couldn't take it anymore. So I appreciate all turf fields. I love them. And they're easy maintenance. But a lot of the fields, they weren't great. And a lot of the teams, like the home fields that we played at when we played at their respective like fields, some of them were beautiful. Chicago Stadium, stunning. They changed it to turf. Akron, it wasn't bad. they made it better, as the years went on. It was an all dirt infield, but super, super hard and really fast. And then our field, the Pride Field in Viera, the new stadium it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. So yeah, it was interesting. We never knew what we were gonna get with the field. This one I copy and pasted because I wanted to read the whole thing. Who's in charge of the USSSA dang ticket sales? I work as an umpire and attend a lot of games, and nothing infuriates me more than how empty the stadium is. There's so much youth softball in the area alone, and young girls that look up to pro players, but never anyone in the stands. They want our opinion on this. All right, so I don't know. We played on a lot of weekday nights, and being in the Viera area, like a newer area, not many people knew we were there. So we're not going to have a packed stadium at night. We did what we could. We got into the community. We did a lot of stuff within the community, handing out things, going to different local spots and restaurants, introducing ourselves, letting them know that there's a pro league in town. We did that leading up to our first season in Viera. Being in Kissimmee, it's a little different because we're by Disney. There were so many weird rules and restrictions. But whenever there was a big tournament like the World Series or something, when we played at Disney Wide World of Sports a lot. So when there were bigger tournaments there, the stadium was filled. It was packed and it was electric. That energy and all those kids there was awesome to play in front of. But I think because switching to new areas and hopping around, it was hard to develop that consistent fan base. But for example, Akron and Chicago, because they play at the same stadium at home for years and years now. Well, I can't say now because the league's no longer, at least for now. They always had a great showing and fan base. And again, that takes time and years to develop that community and the consistency of games in the same spot, because people know that's where the games are going to be and when season is, and it just takes kind of years to build that community, like I was saying. So I think it's because we were hopping around. Some home games were at Disney, some we play on the road. People were just kind of unsure, and it was kind of inconsistent. So that's just something that's just going to take time.